Racing to the 2025 Kentucky Derby, and it's time to update your watch list. Today we're going to take a look at Rated by Merit. He's flying a little bit underneath the radar. The Florida bred has won the Stallion Series. He won all three races, the Dr. Fager, the Affirmed Stakes, and the In Reality divisions. He passed on the Breeders' Cup. He's one of the fastest two-year-olds in the country, and he has been in both Kentucky Derby Future Wager pools, number 1 and number 2. It's Cigar Mile week, and we're going to take a look at Rated by Merit. Of course, he's a Florida bred. He's undefeated in 4 starts, and he's not running in the Cigar Mile. He's going to take a little bit of a break. Meanwhile, his Beyer speed figures in his 4 races, he started off in a maiden race with a 92. He then went to the Dr. Fager Stakes with a 93. He has been facing Florida breds in the last 3 races. He won the Affirmed with a 99 and the In Reality Stakes with a Beyer speed figure of 93. Of course, Rated by Merit. Going to get a little bit of time off before he comes back for his 3-year-old campaign. When you take a look at his past performances, he's by Battalion Runner, who's a Florida bred stallion. He was trained by Todd Pletcher. He was highly thought of after winning a couple of races early on in his career. Jesus Rios has been the jockey in all 4 of his career starts, and in his last 3 races, he's been 40 cents on the dollar, 20 cents on the dollar, and 20 cents on the dollar, picking up those big Beyer speed figures. Now on the broodmare side, the sire is Spacetown, so there is a lot of speed in his pedigree, but he's homebred by St. Elias Stables. They bred him and they still own him after those 4 career victories. The dominating headlines: Rated by Merit cruises to victory in the Affirmed Stakes, and he races the 2-turn test in the In Reality division. Big wins in both of those races for Rated by Merit. Let's take a look at the 4 career races of Rated by Merit. Starting off in July, his maiden breaker, he goes pretty much wire to wire. He was pressured to the turn, draws off to the big victory. That was at 6 furlongs. He's trained by Michael Yates, and Michael Yates has had some success with some Florida bred runners and some speedy runners over the years. Of course, after that maiden race, he went right into the stakes races. He picked up a 93 Beyer, wire to wire in his 2nd race. That was in the Dr. Fager Stakes. An impressive effort from the stretch run all the way to the wire. Pretty much all of his own, cruising on the front end. He does look a little bit like a router, but he does have that fast twitch muscle speed. He does seem to get out of the gate. He does seem to kind of control the pace in all 4 of his victories. Now in the Affirmed Stakes, he picked up his highest career Beyer. That was a 99. Another wire-to-wire effort. That was at 7 furlongs. Jesus Rios, again, in the saddle on that one. All 4 of his career wins have been at Gulfstream Park. Of course, just the 1 track now. And he will probably can start off his 3-year-old season in either the Fountain of Youth, the Holy Bull, and eventually they're backtracking from the Florida Derby. Now, most recently, he went to the In Reality division. A 93 Beyer, dominated this race at 1-5. Another wire-to-wire win, 6 lengths. That was at 8.5 furlongs. You know, he continues to beat the Florida breds. He passed on the Breeders' Cup, but Rated by Merit 4 for 4 after 4 straight victories to start off his career. Let's take a look at the most recent race. Taking a look at the internal splits, 24.13 for the opening quarter, 24.79 for the second half mile. He came home the final furlong and a half, 31.57 seconds. And Rated by Merit seems to be one of those horses that likes to control the race on the front end. He did stretch out to 7 furlongs, then 1 mile and a 16th. He's a Florida bred. He's going to get a 30-day break and probably have a 2-race prep campaign for his 3-year-old season to see if they can get him to the Florida Derby. And overall, the Beyer speed figures, the top 2-year-old speed figures on the season, by Daily Racing form. You've got Rated by Merit, he's got a 99, and then he's also got a 93, a 93, and a 92, dominating on that Beyer speed figure chart through 4 starts. He has 4 of the top 15 Beyer speed figures on the year. Of course, Patch Adams with that 98 last week at Churchill Downs. Citizen Bull with a 96 in the mile and a 16th Breeders' Cup Juvenile as some of the top Beyer speed figures. Overall, he has been featured in both pools of the Kentucky Derby Future Wager. He closed at 102 to 1. He will pay $205 if you bet on him in pool number 1 for $2. Then in pool number 2, he went off at 44 to 1. He will pay $91.72. The Florida bred adding some big odds in both those Kentucky Derby Future Wager pools. The son of Battalion Runner, 4 for 4 as we start dreaming of Kentucky Derby as we go into the winter months. Of course, some of those prep races he could come back in. You've got the Holy Bull. Most likely, though, with 30 days off, he's going to have to pass on the Holy Bull. And the Holy Bull just doesn't offer enough points. Really, you're trying to get into that race with either the Fountain of Youth, 50 points, or the Florida Derby, 100 points to the winner and 40 points for second. Rated by Merit, most likely a 2-prep campaign. Now, we do have previews up with the Remsen Stakes and the Demoiselle. We continue the juvenile season with the Springboard Mile, the Los Al Futurity, the Gun Runner at the fairgrounds, and free racing selections for Cigar Mile and Oaklawn Park coming up here in December. Sign up below in the description. And the Triple Crown Prospectus, I'm sure we'll be talking about Rated by Merit as we get through the Triple Crown campaign 2025, 2,000 words, and we start on January 6th. Sign up below. If you're already signed up from last year, you're good to go. This is season number 4 of the Triple Crown Prospectus. Remember, the Remsen Stakes preview is up if you want to watch that. What do you think of Rated by Merits? What did you think of those big victories in that Florida Stallion Stakes? You got the Affirmed Stakes, the In Reality, the Dr. Fager, dominating wins at 7 furlongs, 6 furlongs, and a mile and a 16th. He's got the impressive Beyer speed figures, a 99 and a 93, plus a 92 in his maiden breaker. Basically wire to wire in all 4 of his career starts. Leave some of your thoughts on the Florida bred. Rated by Merit, what race would be a good comeback race, and what do you think of him overall in comparison to Citizen Bull and some of the recent winners at the Churchill Downs Star of Tomorrow's card? Rated by Merit, a contender or a pretender for you for 2025. Leave a comment, share this video, and like as we get you ready for Triple Crown Prospectus 2025. And remember, D. Wayne Lucas always says, people have opinions, horses have the facts.